Hello there. How are you today, Emily?
I'm well. And how are you, Clarence?
I'm well too. Yeah, it's a nice sunny day out there. I was worried about the rain yesterday, but anyways, it's
We're blessed to have this weather in November. It's wonderful here as well in Sudbury.
oh for sure, for sure. Yeah. So listen, I want to welcome all our viewers to our holistic care and wellness series. Emily, you're going to be joining us today to talk about how to make church a more age-friendly and dementia-friendly environment. And so I'm really looking forward to our discussion on that. I'd like to introduce Emily. Emily is an associate professor in the School of Nursing with Laurentian University, and is a member of the board of Interchurch Health Ministry. And so, welcome today, Emily, to this conversation. So, to get us started here, maybe I could just begin with a question about. I know that you have been involved with your church, St. Patrick's Church, I believe, in Sudbury, in making it more dementia age friendly. So perhaps you could tell us how you got started with that.
Thanks, Clarence, and thanks for having me speak on this. Well, it was about 2017 when I received a call from the then chair of our health council, our parish health council, asking for some help for the parish nurse with her blood pressure clinics. I guess things were getting busy. Those were held monthly, and she was getting busy also doing some counseling with individuals, because she really found that the blood pressure clinics were the thing that kind of brought people, the parishioners, to her and opened the door for more conversation if they were undergoing some stressful situation or some medical issue they had questions on. So I did join and started to assist the parish nurse, and that was in 2017. And here we are in 2021. Since then, I'm still assisting the parish nurse. I'm the chair of our health council, and I'm halfway through the parish nurse program with St. Peter's Seminary. So things can happen quickly in a few years.
For sure, for sure. Yes. Well, when you got going on this work with the parish, did you do any kind of analysis or assessment in the church before you started to implement changes?
Yes, thanks for that question. What happened was, one of the first things we were tasked with, the parish had a survey that they did a few years back for the parishioners, and it hadn't been done in several years. So we were asked, and I at that time had some students placed with me in January of 2018 to do this kind of a health needs assessment with the parishioners. So we handed that out at a few of the masses in the January of 2018, and were able to gather information on some of the things that people were concerned with. What we did notice, now our demographics basically indicated that 82% of the respondents were 55 years and older, which I think is reflective of the demographics of the parish. The things that we found from the information that individuals ticked off were that 24% were concerned about learning more about healthy aging. 20% wanted to know more about hearing loss, 15% their vision, 16% preventing falls, and dementia or memory loss was about 20% of individuals wanting to learn more about that. So in looking at that, we did a number of other things, but we really needed to look at creating an age and dementia friendly environment. And it's dementia friendly, but it's also age friendly. And I also find that it helps all of us in the end. An age-friendly environment reduces the risk of falls, prevents the neglect and abuse of vulnerable older people by increasing the safety of the natural and built environments and the security and protection of older people in the community. And that's from the World Health Organization in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, right. So you did the survey, and that demographic that you were describing there, that's probably true in most of our churches,
Mhm.
in terms of the makeup. And so it is an issue that continues to grow, I guess, and because of the numbers of folks that are getting older and suffering from Alzheimer's. Um, so after you did the survey, were there any next steps that you could explain to us? How you, like, did you have to get approval of the?
Yeah. So what we did was we brought this information back to the, and at that time I wasn't the chair of the health council, but we brought the information back to the health council and took a look at what we could do about it. We actually did work on some of the other items through health fairs, things like heart health and other things that came up. And it took us a couple of years actually to kind of really hone in on this dementia friendly strategy. It was when the national actual guidelines came out for dementia and friendly and age-friendly environments. So we actually looked at that. That was, I think it came out in 2019. So it's called a dementia strategy for Canada. So it was released by the Public Health Agency of Canada, and it actually kind of refocused us on this issue. And there's a real thrust in that to make sure that people living with memory loss and dementia and their caregivers can be supported, valued, have an optimized quality of life, and that their environments are adapted to to facilitating a daily life safely, right?
Mhm.
So that really kind of, when that came out, it was like, okay, it's time for us. And there were some other events where we connected with our local Alzheimer's Society, and we were able to uh, have the Blue Umbrella training, which they offer. And that is a training for individuals. It could be businesses, institutions, agencies, anywhere where the public is accessing, where it allows the individuals to have some training that are working there on how to set up and how to speak with and you know, um, how to basically engage with individuals through socially and through the environment, through providing an appropriate environment that have memory loss and dementia. So we had that done with our parish health council, and we consulted further and asked, we discovered there were some things in the church when there was a walkthrough done that needed to be upgraded or dealt with physical space wise in order to make a more age and dementia friendly environment. And they had the Alzheimer's Society had all kinds of information on how to do that for us. We did have to bring we created a budget of some of the things we may need, and it came to about just over $900, and presented that to our parish pastoral council and who brought it to finance council, and we're able to have that budget approved in order to make some of the changes that we'll see coming up in this talk. So we definitely, having the Blue Umbrella training, accessing your local Alzheimer's Society, they're just invaluable in trying to assist others that are wanting to do this. And it's a real kind of thrust throughout communities right now.
Yes. Well, it sounds like you folks were quite thorough about how you approach this issue, both in terms of the survey analysis that you did and the references to the guidelines from the association. I'm going to just bring up you sent me some pictures of actual changes that you made in your church, and I just want to bring those up and maybe get you to explain a little bit about these particular changes that you've made here. And Well, why don't we start with this first picture here with the orange tape?
Sure. So this is one of the third year nursing students that was placed with me, and they really assisted in doing we did these changes actually ourselves. We actually put the tape down and all of that stuff. And it was a great exercise for all of us to be actually really involved in actually doing that work. So a lot of things actually didn't cost a lot of money because some of the suggestions that were made, and even if you go online, you will see pictures of stairs and places where there are uneven floors, and they just suggest getting some colored duct tape. So we really wanted to go with green or orange. You don't choose red because red often is associated with stopping, and you don't want to go too dark. So this was a section of the lower hall that had an uneven level flooring where it went from the brown carpet to the middle of the floor. And it was important to delineate the different level of floor here because it is used for a lot of meetings. We have our stand-up program usually there for physical activity and other church functions. And so that's what you see there is the outlining of the different level of flooring.
Now that looks like tile floor, but then around it is a carpet?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a change in.
So there was a change in grade there of about an inch. And, you know, if you're not looking properly, you know, those types of the things that when our representative from the Alzheimer's Society came through the church, if there's any different levels in flooring, that should be delineated clearly so people can see and step over that.
All right, so now here's another change in.
So we have a lot of stairs and we have a lot of dark colors in our parish. And one of the things that was also suggested, again, because it's different levels, but on every stair, everywhere you have stairs, even the little carpeted stairs we have in the main on the altar where there are a couple of steps to go up to the altar, we put the green duct tape just across the edge of the stair that again delineates you know, each step clearly. And we had a lot of feedback from this, even from the servers and the ushers that actually indicated, you know, when they were even up on the altar at Mass, oh, this really, really helps, you know, and it's this is what I'm saying. It's helping all of us, dementia or not, you know, that are just to be able to see clearly where we're going. So physically, it's been helping a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of my own church. We have like orange paint on any steps going outside, like you know, as you leave the building. But you know, we have stairs inside. We haven't done anything like this yet. But and is the green tape sticking well? Like it
is now. We did this in was it 20? You know what? It was the winter just before we shut down with COVID. We did all of these. And, you know, that would have been, COVID would have shut the church down in March. This was done, I think it was, you know, over early January. What we were finding just recently was that there were some areas where it was wearing, and what's easy about the duct tape is it can be easily replaced. So we have a volunteer custodian that I just met with a few weeks back. We purchased more duct tape, and he just replaced the pieces that were wearing. And him having some health and safety background was saying, you know, it is working really well. We just have to make sure that it, you know, we look at it for maintenance and for replacement. And it's an inexpensive maintenance piece. So,
yeah, for sure, for sure. What do we got here? We have an elevator, is it?
So the elevators, yes. So their elevators were placed in the church a few years back to assist those that required them entering from the outside on the main ground floor. And what was going on with these elevators is that they were black on black doors on black, you know, opening. And, you know, they it was indicated that we needed to delineate the opening. So you'll see some green tape there. And that's just basically green masking tape surrounding the opening of the elevator door so that it's easily seen. Just as the dark colors on floors cause issues with depth perception, seeing something that's all black and you can't delineate where the opening or the door is can be confusing and just perception wise difficult for those with dementia. And actually, again, it helped us too, because we found it's so dark in here that the elevator is black with, well, it's got the two wood panels there, but it was just something that was suggested. So I'm not sure if the next slide also has some more elevator pictures. This piece here, the proper signage and labels all over the place. There were washrooms that didn't have signage, signage to go down, to go to the elevator, signage within the elevators. So these were things that were highly suggested. And so we got some signs made, extra signs. Also, the diagrams that go with the signs were important as well, along with the words. So those were suggested. And so you'll see here, this is one of the washrooms downstairs in the church hall. There's diagrams and there are the words, the washrooms right on the door and also on the wall pointing to each of the washrooms. The exit, we had some nice signs professionally done. They weren't very expensive either. They did served us well. So these were metal signs that we were able to glue onto the doors. A lot of the doors did not have exit signs. There were extra little signs that were just put on a piece of paper, that people probably couldn't read. So we had, again, this extra one under the exit to make sure that the door completely closes. So you'll see how we tried to keep the aesthetics up by using, going for a bit of the metal sign and the block type letters that were clear to read, the black on the lighter color metal.
Very good.
So here you see one of my students outside of where the entrance would be from the ground level for those taking the elevator. There were no signs there. When I first went into the church and saw the elevator, I didn't know, is that the button for the elevator? So I didn't know which one to press. I didn't know where I was going. What do I press for upper hall? What do I press? Or what do I press for the church? What do I press to actually go to the lower hall? So we got that signage made as well. So that's outside where you see the student. And inside we had sticker signage that was also made because, again, we have main, ground, and basement, but they weren't labeled as to which hall or where you were going, and the arrow to the actual button to press it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of my mother. She's 93 now, but she's suffering from dementia. It's quite advanced. And earlier on, we had to do something similar to this with her microwave. Just to for if you want to just warm up your tea or soup or something for a minute, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's helpful. And again, you'll see the same types of stickers here in the bathrooms. So the actual soap, how many of us have gone into a washroom and not sure if you're supposed to push it or just put your hand under it, just because some of them are automatically motion censored, and some of the others, aren't. So even just the mechanisms within the bathroom, so the clearly delineated signage, and really, a lot of this that is put into place, there's a little bit of maintenance again with the tape, but most of it, the other piece that we did was we ensured that all the bathrooms had black toilet seats. And also we are changing the color of the mats in the main entrances, especially for winter, to either a royal blue or a blue color or a lighter gray, so that again, it's the depth perception that is a difficult thing for those with dementia. If something looks like they're going to fall into it because it looks all dark, or if it's all white, such as a toilet. So the black toilet seat helps with them with that, with allowing them to see that that is the toilet seat. And the mats being a different color assists with that as well, so that it doesn't look like just a black on a dark floor, which is difficult to see.
Yes.
Delineate.
Yeah. Well, Emily, that's quite impressive what you guys were able to do there at the church. And I think with what you've learned about aging and Alzheimer's and ways to make it helpful in the environment, changing the environment for them to continue to participate in their daily activities is quite commendable. Is there anything you could say in terms of final words for other churches that may want to make these changes for their parishioners and congregants?
Yes. So, I mean, I've explained how we did it. So certainly, you know, take a look at following some of those steps as you progress with doing this and connecting with your Alzheimer's Society, but also really realize that there are a lot of people living with dementia, either diagnosed or undiagnosed, and many are undiagnosed because they're in the early stages. And we're not even aware that some of these people that are in our parishes. So creating an age and dementia-friendly church really helps those. It helps their families as well. And also, and many people living with early dementia, diagnosed or undiagnosed, continue to drive and socialize and hold down meaningful jobs. And even as dementia progresses, people can lead active and healthy lives, carry on with their hobbies, and enjoy loving relationships and friendships. And a lot of that is within their parish, you know, that's their social life. So an age and a dementia-friendly environment, such as the one we presented today, really assists in these. And I just want to thank, special thanks to Jessica Bertuzzi Gallo from the Alzheimer's Society here in Sudbury, and assisting us in this endeavor, and also the parish nurse, Zenaida, and the students in my third year group that actually assisted and helped create this. Very
good. Well, certainly what you've presented to us is a very practical way to deal with this issue and economical. I mean, it wasn't that expensive to buy the tape and the signage, and seems to make a big difference. So, Emily, I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing this with us, and I want to wish you a wonderful week.
Well, thank you for having me, Clarence. Have a wonderful week as well.
Take care.